They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome, Sioux Falls, to the SlashLot 605. I am one of your hosts, Sam the Damned Lens. I am joined today by Casey the Killer Kelderman of Backlot 605 and Blakenstein Ginnathan.
Friend.
Welcome to our new show. You might have known us as the Killer Countdown. We are doing something new now. This is SlashLot 605. Guys, are you excited to be here? Because I'm excited to be here.
I'm pretty stoked. I feel bad. We were supposed to do this last Friday, and I got sick literally as I was walking out the door to drive here. But I'm stoked. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have been craving to do this show.
I have been craving to do it too.
Yes, like Wes, the Wes variety.
Yeah, thanks for ruining that joke.
That's what I'm here for.
You sound like some Wes Carpenter character.
To tell bad jokes.
I've been Cronenberg and this.
Oh, like David Cronenberg.
Oh, that one?
That one? No, Brandon actually.
No, I am super stoked to do this. I've been just chomping at the bit.
I think ever since you and I talked about this early in the year, we've been excited for a change and a more discussion-based show is something we're really, really excited to present.
Hell yeah.
A little less pressure than doing a Killer Countdown.
Yeah.
And this, like, I love that we're doing it this way because we just get to share our love of horror, not have to argue about this one's better. Oh no, this one's better. This one's
exactly.
Better.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just I was on Andy's podcast this week, and he was talking to me about Andy Heller.
Oh, okay. Fat Dude Digs
Flicks. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to plug it properly. Yeah, check out Fat Dude Digs Flicks. He's great. And he was kind of talking to me about what this podcast was going to be, and I was like, it's kind of nice because with Killer Countdown, it was more like bite-sized clips of like, oh, this is a movie that's really great, but we never really were able to dive into why they were great as much. And I'm really excited to open that up and have some really good discussions.
I think it takes away from the competitive and a littleness, and we get our competitiveness a little bit. Yeah. And I'm excited to maybe just learn more about some of the heroes that we admire in the genre.
Hell yeah.
And we don't have to yell at each other after the show about Santa's sleigh making the best Christmas list. We don't have to do that anymore. It's all right.
This was a great episode until you brought that up, Casey. now I'm mad again.
This entire show will just be airing past grievances of the Killer Countdown.
Yeah. This is basically that holiday that George Costanza's dad created. What's Festivus. Yeah.
Festivus
We're just airing grievances the entire time.
This is Festivus 605.
Later today is the feat of strength, but anyways.
What are we doing on this show? What's the topic of this show that we're doing
tonight?
Right here, right now, tonight?
Gosh, we're going to be doing we've been calling it the all-nighter episode, right?
Yeah, so the all-nighter episode.
Yeah. So basically, if each of us got a movie theater for a night, and we had people show up for a all-nighter of, I'm doing 5 movies. I don't know about you guys. 5.
I've got 6.
Okay, an all-nighter and a repeat of all these horror movies. What would we show? And I think as people who love going to the theaters and love horror movies, it's like a dream of ours to be able to curate something for this. Like I every year I do something for my friends, or I'll show 2 movies that I don't tell anybody about it, and I try to get really cool trailers to show in front of it. And we're doing this. We're doing this next week. Not to the extent that not the grand extent that we have that we're doing on this show tonight, but so it's just a sort of a way of presenting ourselves of like, if we were to show some movies in a theater, what would we show to people? And it might be for me, it's not going to be a look into like my favorites, but just sort of like what I would want people to experience, maybe like as they like fall asleep, but like, like kick, like if they were to start falling asleep, like what would I play to like get the crowd going again, and like what would I play as they're leaving the theater, what would I kick it off with, and hopefully we're able to explain as best as possible why we're choosing each movie.
Oh yeah, I've got the why and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's good that we're doing this the first episode, because these might not be our favorite horror movies, but I think it gives an insight to all of our psyche with how we would pitch a horror all-nighter. Like what horror movies are we thinking of when we think of one into the other, into the other, into the other,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to jump into that a little later on.
Yeah.
But first, we've got to dig through our fresh meat. That sounded
Sam's
worse
been
than
waiting to say that.
Sam's just been digging to get into our fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
All right. Who wants to kick it off? This is our recent watches, as we called fresh meat.
I'll kick it off. I'll kick it off.
Do
Yeah,
it.
I've got some good recents. So one of the ones, and I know Casey's seen this. I don't know if you were planning on talking about this one, Casey.
Okay.
But Scooby-Doo finally has a Halloween movie. Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo is now available on VOD. It's available on DVD. It was available on DVD before it was on VOD, which was really weird, but awesome. Because Casey and I, both being Doo heads, picked up a
Hashtag do heads.
Hashtag Doo heads. Picked up a copy, and we both were able to watch it before most people did. So I loved it. Bill Nye and Elvira,
The science guy.
Yeah, Bill Nye the science guy, and Elvira are actual characters in this movie. To me, this is like this is one of the best animated Scooby-Doo films that I've seen in quite a while. I didn't care for Return to Zombie Island and some of the more recent ones, but this one was solid. I love that it had a Halloween theme. Weirdly, that's been absent from most Scooby-Doo movies. And yeah, I genuinely think that if the Hex Girls were in it, it would have bumped up another star to me to be a 4.5 star movie, honestly. I loved it.
I think I would say it's probably the second best Scooby-Doo straight to DVD, VHS, Laserdisc, whatever. I would say Zombie Island is number one, and this is right behind it. I think this is definitely one of the best.
Ooh,
I think
even above Witch's Ghost.
yes.
Sorry,
Sam.
Witch's Ghost is my jam. But
yeah, I think those three are easily the top three. And
yeah.
I mean, Sam and I will gush about Scooby-Doo all day long, and we have in the past. We'll do it again, and we'll make Blake suffer at some point to watch these.
That is an episode that I might not be able to make it to.
We might have to save that for a month where Blake can't make it.
Yeah,
we just have to do Scooby-Doo.
Save it for the month where never mind. I can't say that yet. Sorry, I almost got in trouble.
Yeah,
but I love this movie, and it also includes Batman's The Scarecrow is the villain of the movie,
which is really cool,
which is really great, and it's a Velma centered movie, which we don't get very often.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was overall it's a blast, and if you're looking for something that the whole family can watch like during this Halloween season, this is probably the go-to for this year, especially for a new release.
Yeah,
I haven't even watched the new Scoob movie yet.
Oh,
and I'm assuming this is the best Scooby-Doo movie this year.
Yeah, it is. Scoob is good. It's not great, but it was a fun kids movie. That's all I'll say about it. I also got to see two classics in theaters. I got to see the uncut version of Psycho on the big screen, which was so dope. That movie is fantastic. Did either of you guys catch it when it was in town?
No.
Yeah, it was only a 2-night thing.
Yeah, it was really a last minute thing for me. I kind of forgot about it until the day of, and then my sister texted me. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to this. Do you want to go?" And I was like, yeah. So we went. It was pretty awesome. And I caught A Nightmare on Elm Street at West Mall.
Very cool.
Great theater experience.
They look pretty good.
I'll piggyback off that because that's in one of mine too, and I'll just bring it up now. I saw Elm Street in the West Mall the first weekend that we had it here, and what was awesome about it is I went to the 9:00 showing, the latest showing that they had, and the theater I would say was about halfway full. It was
no way.
It was at least halfway full in terms of seats you could fill.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh.
So I mean, whatever that, a fourth of the way actually full.
So like 25 people or so?
No, it was easily over 30. I counted over 30, and then another group walked in
That's
10
awesome.
minutes into it. But yeah, it was. I was probably the oldest person at it,
Mhm.
and it was a bunch of high schoolers, and I'm assuming their parents said, "Yeah, you guys need to go watch this movie." We watched it when we were in high school, and so for a lot of them, it was probably watching Elm Street for the first time ever on the big screen.
That's dope.
And for me, watching it for the millionth time on the big screen, it still holds up. It's one of the best horror movies of the 1980s that we did not include on our 1980s horror countdown.
It's a 5-star movie. 100%.
I have always given this movie 4.5 stars.
Easily a 4-star per movie for me.
Yeah.
But that's
the reason the reason I give it that is I hate the ending.
Really?
With the mother, I that's like knocks it down the half star for me, and it's just it's a nitpicky thing, but
yeah,
I sort of love.
grievances.
I think my favorite part of Nightmare on Elm Street is that it feels like it just begins in the middle of the plot. Like it feels like it's just like this has been happening, and it just starts.
Yeah.
And then there's this mystery for like 30 minutes, and then you're like, oh, that's kind of what's happening. And I sort of love how you aren't like treated like a child watching that movie.
And I love that it's like it sets you up with Tina, and you think she's the main character until like she gets brutally murdered.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, this movie is not about her at all. It's about the best friend.
Yeah. And if you think about it, like a lot of the best slashers pull that trick. You've got Psycho, you've got A Nightmare on Elm Street, you've got Scream.
I was gonna say Wes takes from himself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I love this movie. And after I saw it in the theater, I went home and I watched the Simpsons Treehouse of Terror episode that spoofs it.
Is that the Willie episode?
Yeah, the Willie episode where, Mom, Ralph died in school today. Well, I don't see what that has to do with groundskeeper Willie. The greatest.
That little bit that they did scared me as a kid.
Yeah, it's a terrible.
I watched that live on TV, and that scared me.
We've been watching those on Disney Plus because they actually put a collection of them together,
They did,
which is awesome. Just to sit and watch those.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've also been watching, as far as like reality TV goes, I don't watch a lot of it, but every October I have to watch some Halloween Wars. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. It's on Hulu, and it's like they get a pumpkin carver, a sugar specialist who blows and makes sugar things, and a cake artist to come together and make like horror themed like baked goods. Basically, it's so weird, but it's so fun. And they have guest judges and stuff. Like Elvira is a guest judge on a few episodes. It's so dope, and it's just like one of our Halloween traditions. So I've been watching that. I highly recommend it if you like Halloween. Shudder just added a bunch of Vincent Price movies. I haven't quite dug into it yet, but I did watch The Fall of the House of Usher for the first time since like middle school.
It rules so hard.
It's so good. It's so good. It's like a slow burn, but that ending is it's chilling. Speaking of Shudder, I also have been watching Holliston. I know that Casey has also been watching that. It's funny. If you're a horror fan, watch it because you're going to love it. It's Adam Green and Joe Lynch doing goofy sitcom stuff, but through a horror lens. There's a lot of fun little nods to it. The Christmas special is hysterical. Totally recommend it. I'll save one for the end. I know neither of you, to my knowledge, have seen this yet, so I won't go into spoilers, but The Haunting of Bly Manor. My God, this show is great. It's totally different than Hill House. A lot of people who really liked Hill House have been sort of disappointed with it from what I've been hearing. I did not feel that. I don't think it's a perfect show like Hill House was. Like to me, Hill House is 5 out of 5. Wouldn't change a damn thing about it. It's my favorite thing to come out of the last. It might be one of my favorite audiovisual media entertainment pieces ever, honestly. And Bly Manor is not perfect, but the last 2 episodes bring the whole season together in such an emotionally impactful way that it almost erases all of my grievances that I had with the previous episodes. I mean, this packs an emotional wallop, and the last shot of it is just one of the most perfect things I've ever seen. It's so good. So I would highly, highly recommend everyone get on that train because it's something that I think people are really gonna pick up on and really start to enjoy. My last one that I have, I know both of you have watched, and I know we all liked this movie a lot more than our friend Andy Heller. But let's talk about some Hubie Halloween, guys.
Let's talk about Hubie Dubois.
Hello, officer. This is Hubie Dubois.
I'm here to save Salem.
I still haven't watched Uncut Gems, and I know everybody's like, "Oh, get on it," and I will, but I have anxiety already, and from what I've heard, like all that's going to do is make it worse.
I can't confirm that.
Yeah, so
You should have watched that and then just had a palate cleanser of Hubie.
Yeah, and maybe that's probably what I'll end up doing is like watching Hubie immediately after Uncut Gems. I don't see how Uncut Gems is going to be more enjoyable than Hubie Halloween.
It's different, enjoyable.
Yeah.
I'm aware. You guys.
It's probably
know
the
me.
most like polar opposite amount of enjoyable from Hubie Halloween to Uncut Gems.
What was it that you said on your Letterboxd review, Blake? Was it,
Hubie?
Yeah, was it?
I said
Julie Bowen is so.
No.
horny
I
in this movie or something?
said. No, that was supposed to be a private chat.
Oh,
Sam.
sorry.
Your review is pretty great.
My review of Hubie Halloween is just when I thought that there was just when I thought there was no more horny movies, Hubie Halloween comes along.
That's right. Sorry.
She
He
is
said-
horny as hell in this
Yeah.
movie.
Oh,
I
she
wasn't
is.
talking about her specifically.
No, what?
but
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
no.
her whole.
I mean-
That's her whole character in this movie.
yeah,
wants to get in Hubie's
she. At first, I thought, okay, she's overplaying it so much that she's gonna be, a bad person in the end. But no, she legit wants Hubie, and
I think it's so over the top that it totally works.
Oh,
too.
it does.
It's-
Yes.
it's
The
great.
whole movie is that way.
yeah.
None of the movie takes itself seriously in
Oh,
the
yeah.
slightest.
I mean,
Listen, this movie sucks, but it's so.
it's so
fun,
enjoyable in its
and
suckiness.
I've never seen a movie that is so drenched in Halloween. Like,
Yeah.
I can't think of another movie ever where, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but off the top of my head, I can't think of a movie that like every shot bleeds Halloween, fall, pumpkins, or not pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, leaves, and
Yes.
everything. It's and the whole thing takes place in like 24 hours, which I think is an incredible thing that it does. And yeah, I had a really bad day at work. I came home and I'm like, I'm watching Hubie Halloween tonight.
Same.
And I watched 30 minutes, and then my wife came in and she goes, "What's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's the new Adam Sandler." She's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Do you want to watch?" She's like, "Well, you've already started," and I'm like, "I will start it over." And so I rewatched the whole thing, the first 30 minutes over again, and it's such a fun Sandler movie. He is goofy as hell in this.
Oh,
I've watched it 3 times since it premiered on Netflix. Like, I'm not even kidding.
I am legit craving watching it a second time.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
I think it's Sandler's best since
I would
Uncut
say,
Gems.
the best Sandler comedy since probably
I would say like 50 First Dates.
what year was that? I would say I liked Longest Yard.
Yeah,
So
but
that was like
I almost
05?
consider that
best
a drama.
best or enjoyable.
Okay.
Out of comedies,
The most
Yeah.
okay.
What-
Because I would say Jack and Jill is terrible, but I enjoy watching
Oh,
it.
no, I don't.
No, Jack and Jill. No, I no.
Sandler movies
It's a
itself
wild
are
movie.
all
And, like-
pretty wild and ridiculous. But this harkens back to like I don't say it harkens back to like Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy.
I'd
era,
say it's on
but
par
it's
with
like
those
right
movies.
after those. It's that
I'd say
Mr.
I'd
D-
say it's on par with those movies.
It's almost
Easily.
It is almost stuck back in that 90s because I mean you've even got like the little gang of kids in ghost face masks, which is literally what every kid was wearing at the turn of the millennium. Like it's so I don't know.
What I do love is that Sandler in this movie is finally like I think at this point in Sandler's career, he definitely knows what kind of movies he's making. This is really the first one where he's referenced since like I would say Longest Yard was probably the last time he referenced a previous movie.
Mm-hmm.
In that one he had Rob Schneider yell, "You can do it." This one he has previous characters. He full on has a Billy Madison moment in the movie and in the after like credits, he fully just does the Billy Madison thing for the kids in the room, and it's pretty hilarious. I wish Sandler would just do this type of stuff more. It almost does have a meta quality to it, where Sandler knows what he's doing in this, and he knows his audience at this point. And and this one doesn't feel like him and his friends are going on vacation. It feels like they're hanging out, but it doesn't feel as egregious as grown-ups or as oh my god, what's the last one he did with Jennifer Aniston?
Murder Mystery,
where he is legit on a cruise and on tropical.
Honestly, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's terrible. It's the worst. But at least this
can't be as bad as The Ridiculous Six. I'm sorry.
I don't want to litigate. I don't want to litigate Adam Sandler's filmography tonight.
So we'll do.
I want to litigate. This is a discussion-based show.
Sam, we're going to do a Do Heads podcast, and we'll do the Sandman and Friends podcast at some point.
Yes.
Well, then I will come on for the Uncut Gems episode because I would love to talk about that.
I legit would love to do a Sandler podcast. I think that would be.
I think it'd be so fun.
Let's do it. Do you have any other?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all three recommend Who Be Halloween.
Yes.
It's
for sure.
It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I've got for fresh.
And during
meat.
2020, like it's just the perfect.
Yeah. This was my balm movie of 2020 for sure.
It's gonna be in my top 5, guys, for sure.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. The Happy Madison stuff this year has been working for me. This and The Wrong Miss year. I'm like,
I watched that too.
I
didn't put it on my recent. I watched that recently, like after Hubie Halloween. I liked it way more than I did to admit.
That one feels like a 90s Sandler comedy too.
It's not good.
It's not good.
But it is. I laughed the whole way.
We digest.
Yes, we do.
Blake, do you want to go ahead?
I have a ton.
Okay.
But I'm gonna rapid fire mine because I want to get to the main topic. I watched Nightmare Beach, which is like this Italian movie that takes place in Florida in the 1980s. It's not good, but it's sort of fun to look back on what they could get away with in the 80s. It's about this guy, this killer who is part of a bike gang, and who they execute him, and then all of a sudden, like a few days later, like people start getting murdered in this beach town during spring break, of course. And so you gotta kind of figure out who it is. There's long stretches of time where, like, I would say there's only like 3 people killed by this biker throughout the entire movie, and it really feels like it's the 30-minute, 60-minute, and 90-minute mark. The rest of it's just like these 2 guys trying to get laid on the beach, which I thought was really funny. But so that was not very good. I watched Antebellum. That came out this year. I really feel like they could have marketed this differently, but again, I don't know how you could. I don't want to say too much because the twist halfway through is really, really interesting.
Is it the twist they show in the trailer?
I don't know. I don't want to say too much. Okay. We can talk off mic about it.
They show a twist in the trailer?
Have you watched the trailer?
I feel like I have.
Okay. Well, at this point, I wouldn't watch the trailer.
I don't want to say then.
I haven't watched it in quite a while. I remember seeing
the ending is pretty big, not deserved in my opinion, but pretty big. Resident Evil I rewatched. Boy, this did not hold up for me at all. I enjoyed it a lot when I was younger.
I'm excited for the new Mila movie.
The Monster Hunters thing or whatever. Yeah, it looks good. I rewatched the Suspiria remake, which I kind of enjoyed the first time, and on this rewatch, it doesn't work for me, and it has nothing to do with the fact that there's no creepy score, no like primary colors or anything. It's a little too long for me. Like, either make this an hour and a half or make it a mini series or a limited series, like extend it a little bit and get into the legend and the mythos more.
It feels very pretentious.
And I like the remake. The original is one of my favorites, and I love Luca Guadagnino, but this just didn't do anything for me. Okay, new movie this year, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I loved this movie. This is the new Jim Cummings movie. He did Thunder Road a couple years ago. I have not seen Thunder Road yet, but based off of The Wolf of Snow Hollow, this is like the entrance of a new talent in the filmmaking world. This movie is.
That's what I heard about Thunder Road.
This movie is incredible. This might be my favorite movie of the year. Basically, it takes place in this small Utah town. A werewolf is maybe killing young women, and it's about this guy. He's a cop played by Jim Cummings, who has a lot of issues. He's an alcoholic. He goes to AA meetings, but he's struggling with that. His dad is dying of terminal cancer. His family is fractured. His daughter doesn't love him, and he's trying to solve these crimes that are being committed. What I found really interesting about this movie is that it's a tightrope walk. There are scenes where it feels like some actors are playing it safe or like playing it like straight, and then there's other actors who are off in another movie, and somehow it works. Somehow these tones, they work. And it comes down to Jim Cummings, who wrote, directed, produced, stars in it. He's the main actor. And I just thought the whole thing was just incredible. I actually started, I do this thing where I'll start a movie at like 11:30, and it's like, all right, I'm going to watch half and then go to sleep and wake up and finish it. And as soon as I got 15 minutes in, and I was just wide awake, floored, like sitting up, attentive, and I really enjoyed this. I can't sing the praises enough about how much I love this movie. Highly, highly recommend it. I watched a movie called The Hidden, which is an 80s Kyle MacLachlan movie where an alien is transferring itself from body to body and just basically going on this murder spree. This is one of the most 80s things I've ever seen. I highly recommend if you love 80s horror movies, because it kind of reminds me of the Night of the Creeps, actually, Sam. I think you'd really like this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. I rewatched The Guest, which keeps getting better and better for me. I love The Guest.
Such a good movie.
Dan Stevens needs to sort of make good on this performance at some point, because he's incredible in this, and so is Micah Monroe, who did this, and it follows a year apart, and I really wish she was a bigger star.
She tried with Independence.
I rewatched The Mist. I agree. I rewatched The Mist, the black and white version. Man, this movie is so much better in black and white.
Oh yeah, that's the only way to watch it.
I loved this movie. And I watched a new movie called Alone, which is about this woman who is moving, and a guy stalks her on the highway in the remote Oregon forest. This movie is intense as hell for 85 minutes, and then the ending sucks, but I still recommend it. And then I watched a bunch of movies on the Criterion channel that I will talk about with Andy Heller on that Criterion break, so stay tuned for that.
Nice.
There you go.
Sorry to go fast.
Tease it.
Yeah.
Tease it. Since you ended on your recent watches, I'll start with the recent watches from this year. I actually just watched these as we're recording last night. I watched the Mortuary Collection, which is a brand new Shudder movie. It is a anthology movie. It's basically about this mortician, and this girl is applying to work there. And while she's there, she's into macabre stuff, and she asks him about this library that's in there, and he says, well, there's all these stories to tell, and he begins to tell her all these stories, and that's where the anthology aspect comes into this. And I really dug this. I think this is a well put together anthology where, and it's a rare anthology where you're just as invested in the wraparound as you are in the anthology
So
stories.
it's unlike Nightmare Cinema.
Yeah, it is the exact opposite of that. Yeah, that's a good point. I think the wraparound is probably the most interesting part of the movie, which is good to have in an anthology. It reminds me a lot of Creep Show, both the movie and the TV series. There are some segments that reminded me a lot of the TV series, and
Nice.
for a independent movie, this has it looks like $1 million. Like it looks fantastic. It's very big and in scope and everything. So it's I definitely recommend it. It's a perfect Halloween movie.
Between this and what I've been hearing about the Mortuary Collection and how much I enjoyed Scare Package, I feel like in the Creep Show series is obviously amazing. I feel like Shudder's really got a vice hold on.
They've
horror
definitely found their
anthologies.
footing, I think.
Yeah.
And I think they've been crushing it this year. Like it seems like every single week there's something new that's exclusive or original on Shudder, and they've just been crushing it. Another Shudder movie then is The Cleansing Hour. I watched that one as well. It's about this. It's basically about this exorcist show where this guy he pretends that he is an exorcist and performs live exorcisms live streamed on YouTube or on his website. And basically, it's all a hoax until one night he and his best friend is the producer director. His best friend's fiance has to step in and be the actress for this, except she actually gets possessed in the movie, and they have to team up and figure out how to rid her of this demon. And it goes into the demons of everybody's life that is involved in this. And yeah, it's a really great, pretty much single location movie. A lot of great scares. I mean, it's definitely very, very bold. It has a lot of CGI in it for a low budget movie, and it doesn't look bad either. Like it definitely fits within the realm of the story. But the real reason to watch it is for this. The movie has just such a ballsy ending. It's so big too, and I loved it. It made the entire movie go up in my rankings for it. So I really dug The Cleansing Hour. Perfect, again, Halloween theme movie. I checked out the new Tremors movie, Tremors Shrieker Island. Just dropped on Netflix and on VOD. So it was a surprise that it dropped on Netflix right away, which was nice. I love this series. I think it's such a blast. The last two aren't great, the ones that have Jamie Kennedy in it, but they're still fun. They're still Tremors movies. Michael Gross is killer in this. So they swap out Jamie Kennedy. You get John Heder in the sidekick role this time, and he fits so much better than Jamie Kennedy did. And it's really funny that he's almost playing Jamie Kennedy's character from Scream, because John Heder keeps referencing Predator and Aliens and Ash from Evil Dead, and he's referencing all these movies and how they relate. He calls himself, or Michael Gross calls him Ramboy instead of Rambo. So it has a
something a boomer would say.
Yeah. And God, I love Burt Gummer so much. I think he is one of the most underrated monster movie characters. He's such a great monster hunter, and it's so much fun to watch Michael Gross play this character. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a Tremors movie. Like, don't take it so serious. It's just a fun ride. Some of the other ones that I did catch up on here, Sam touched on it, Nightmare on Elm Street in the theater, which was fantastic. Right before I watched Elm Street, I watched Hocus Pocus in the theater, which was fun. It was mostly families in it. And
shout out Andy Hiller.
Yeah, everybody's favorite Halloween movie. I don't know. I don't understand.
I watched this too. I forgot about it, but yeah.
Did you watch it in the theater?
I did not, because there were a bunch of rowdy teenagers in front of me, and I'm a grumpy old man, and I decided to go home.
Oh, that's right. You did talk about, yeah. I've never seen this.
Oh, man.
I know what we're doing. I think I've told you how you should watch it when you eventually do. Right?
At a certain theater?
No. Oh. Wait for your daughter to be older.
Okay.
Because then
Same with the Hotel Transylvania movies.
Yeah, if she likes
I
it,
will probably love it. Yeah.
So I think it's a fun movie. Like, I don't think it's a masterpiece of cinema, and we've kind of had this in conversation. Like, it's almost been me and Sam versus the world on Hocus Pocus. And it's a fun movie. I don't understand the hate for it.
Is that Mick Garris?
Yeah,
he wrote it. He wrote
it. Okay.
Directed by Kenny Ortega, who did High School Musical.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus, fun ride.
And it's actually got some kind of dark stuff in it too. For being a kids movie.
There's a drinking game that to be had with Hocus Pocus. Every time they say the word virgin, you should take a shot, and you're hammered in the first 20 minutes.
Or in my case, the first time they say
it. Some other recent watches that I got. The other night we were like, all right, let's watch some bad movies. So I popped on Evil Bong, the full moon movie. It's horrible, but in the right full moon way. Evil Bong is it's about a killer bong, and that's all you need to know. And yeah,
it's the best.
I want to see this just to see how people actually die from this bong. Like, I mean, I imagine they just want to get high, and then
you take a hit from the bong, and the bong takes a hit from you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's terrible.
You got to. Well, you also have to see this one so you can watch the Bong versus Ginger Dead Man. Right?
Guess what I watched right after?
You watched
Evil Bong versus the Ginger Dead Man. I got 20 minutes in, and it was all footage from the previous movies. I'm like, yeah, screw this, and I fell asleep.
Oh no!
Yeah, have you watched it?
No, I haven't even seen Evil Bong yet.
Yeah. I've never seen Ginger Dead Man, and I watched.
I've seen the first. I've seen Ginger Dead Man a couple of times, and I've seen is it Saturday Night Cleaver where he goes back in time to a disco roller skating rink. I've seen
Dead Man.
I've seen that one, but I don't think I've seen The Passion of the Crust. Yes, I know the names of the Ginger Dad
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah. I've never watched them. Are they fun? Are they fun bad movies though, or just bad?
Yes.
Movies? Okay.
There was this interesting.
Gary Busey's in the first one, right?
Yes, there's he might be in all of them. There's an interesting stretch of movies, horror movies from like 99 to like 2008 where they're just low budget, really bad, but they have a certain energy to them and a certain love in the craft that I can't help but.
And then I feel in recent years Full Moon's just kind of just phoning everything, and they're using recycled footage, and I mean Full Moon movies have always not been great, but they've always understood what they are.
Yeah,
and I think they've kind of lost that last decade or so. Another recent watch I watched the WNUF Halloween special.
Oh, I still need to see
I
this.
still want to watch that.
Yeah, so I thought it was a blast to watch this during the Halloween season. The first 30 minutes of the movie is basically a news broadcast from a small town. The news broadcast studio is all set up like Halloween. The anchors are all dressed up in Halloween characters, and there's commercial breaks in the newscast, and the commercial breaks are perfect for a 1980s theme for this movie. But then the last hour is the WNUF Halloween special, where they go to this supposed haunted house and they spend the night there and explore the horrors of it. And they keep doing the commercials. And I if I had one thing to change in this, I would have made the last hour, and you could have put in the conceit that, we're doing a commercial-free broadcast of the WNUF Halloween special. Right. And then you could have just had a legit horror movie for the last hour. That's how I would have done it. But yeah, the commercial breaks come in and break up every tension that is actually built up in that second hour. And the commercials get repetitive after a while.
I've seen the first half hour of this, and I gave up because I was like, well, I don't want to watch commercials. And I had just watched it maybe like a week or two after I'd watched Ghost Watch. And I was like, well, this is just child's play compared to that. But there's a growing number of people who love this movie, and I do want to give it my I do want to be able to judge it by watching the whole thing. So I need to just watch it. I just got to find time to do it. So I'm glad that you kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I still enjoyed it.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if it'll be in every Halloween thing, but maybe every other. Like, it has a nostalgic feel. It's just a good movie to just pop on and feel nostalgic and feel like you're back in the 80s for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Even though I've never been in the 80s.
Yeah.
See,
it was a good time.
I feel like the commercials wouldn't bother me that much just because, like, I don't know.
I wonder
if
they
play the same commercials though a few times.
I wonder. Well, that actually happens though.
I know it does.
I wonder if the playing of the commercials is supposed to be the comedic tension release. Like that you'd get with somebody like making a joke otherwise.
Right.
A character. Oh, that was so funny. Like I wonder if that was supposed to be how long are the commercial breaks during the movie? Are they
legit commercial breaks?
Like 5 minutes long?
No, like 3 minutes.
Jeez. Yeah. That might be a little too much.
And it's every like 10 minutes of the movie.
Okay. That's
well, I do want to see it.
I definitely I'll say that I didn't like the commercial stuff, but I still definitely recommend WNUF. Another one I watched on that is on Shudder right now. Most of these actually were on Shudder. I watched Found Footage 3D, the 2D version. It's all about this group of friends that are trying to make the first ever found footage 3D movie. I am a sucker for found footage movies. This is the perfect commentary on that, and you never really know. Like the characters are set up in this movie where like the main character has hired his like ex-wife or soon to be ex-wife as the main actress in the movie alongside him, and they go on this trip together, and that's like where the found footage aspect is supposed to take place. And there's almost this meta quality of those two breaking up in the movie that they're making and going through tension in real life. So yeah, I love found footage movies. This definitely fits in with the good canon of found footage movies. And then the last movie that I have on here is Victor Crowley. So I finally finished the Hatchet series. It's the one that I had not seen yet. I watched the last drive-in version of this with Joe Bob Briggs. So it was about 3 hours long. And between every commercial break, he brings in a new cast member. So like Adam Green pops up. Kane Hodder shows up.
Wasn't Barbara Crampton in this one too?
No. Sleepaway Camp.
Rose
Rose is in this. Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers is in this. And the reason I watched this finally is like Sam said, he had been watching Holliston. I finished Holliston and have started it over again.
So good.
When it first popped up on Shudder, I'm like, all right, I should give this a go. I had always heard about Adam Green's sitcom that he did with Joe Lynch, and I didn't realize how old the show was. It's from like 2011, 2012.
Yeah, and some of the jokes have already dated.
Quite a few of the jokes, unfortunately. But I love this.
Still funny though.
I love this show. It's how it's like How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, but good. Especially the Big Bang Theory aspect. It feels like that show, but it's not pandering to like nerds like that. This is like about horror fans for horror fans. Like you're gonna understand every joke that's made if you're a horror fan. They bring in horror actors to play themselves. Like Tony Todd shows up as himself, and
oh my god, the Tony Todd episode is amazing.
Is fantastic. He takes a room from them and just starts sleeping in their house. He's fantastic. Danielle Harris shows up as herself. Kane Hodder.
In a couple episodes, both of them do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I loved Holliston. Highly recommend it. And like Adam Green has such a passion for this show. I read an interview with him that said like Holliston is his favorite thing that he's ever done was doing the 2 seasons of Holliston, and they're still trying to get a 3rd season. And I'm like, please, Shudder is probably the place for that to happen now.
Mm-hmm. I would welcome it. And
I would too. It's a sitcom. It's low budget. Let's do it. Let's get the group back together. I love Holliston. I mean, I think my favorite part is Dee Snider in this show. Yes. Dee Snider plays a wannabe 80s rocker who is the lead singer of a Van Halen cover band and Joe Lynch and Adam Green's boss at a TV station. And he has a sitcom entrance every time he shows up and leaves. It's perfect. It understands exactly what it is. It's super meta too, because there's points in which they're like, well, is that the end of the scene or is it your line? Like just have like certain points of like, they know they're on a sitcom. It's pretty funny. Or they make reference to, well, you're not going to be in next season, I guess. And like stuff like that. So I love it. I think it's definitely one of Adam Green's best works that he's done. And I think he is such an important voice to have in horror. And then Victor Crowley, Victor Crowley I watched right after I finished Holliston. And yeah, it's another Victor Crowley movie. I don't think it's as good as the first 3. And it has probably the lowest budget out of all of them, I think I've heard. I could be wrong. What did it? He said it on Joe Bob's show how much it cost. It was like $300,000.
Really?
For Victor Crowley?
Wow.
Yeah. And you would not think that, but it is pretty much taking place just it's in the swamp and in a crashed airplane. So it's very pretty much a one location. And I was disappointed that it has a lack of Danielle Harris in it, but he makes up by introducing Laura Ortiz, who was in Holliston with him. She's kind of the new Danielle Harris in this, and it totally works out great. And there's a great after credit scene too with Miss Harris.
Nice.
That hopefully sets up Hatchet 5. So give us Hatchet 5 and Holliston season 3.
I don't know if I've seen the Hatchet series past 2.
I think 2 is the best.
I haven't watched either of them in quite a while. They were both like early high school watches for me.
I love that.
He killed a lot of people in 2 and 3. A lot of people.
Yeah.
And in just incredibly fun ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
gore is like the best thing about those movies, honestly.
I'm going to spoil one kill because I just got to talk about it. It's incredible. It's with Felissa Rose, and she basically plays the agent of the oh my god, what was the guy's name? He's Tony Todd's like sidekick that's pretending to be Asian. And he's actually American in the first movie, and his like brothers.
I don't know his name,
but he's the main character in this movie.
Okay,
and so she plays like his agent, and she's on her cell phone all the time. So Victor Crowley, when she tries to escape, rips her arm off, and then shoves it up her
Good Lord, really?
up her area, and then goes through her mouth, and the phone is still on the hook.
Oh my god.
It's incredible. It's so funny too. God, I love
Good
this
Lord.
series. It's awesome. So yeah, definitely recommend that entire series. I love it.
Perry Shen is his name.
Yeah, and he's great in that. I love him in that series, and this whole movie's about him. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Real quick too, I almost forgot about this. I did take a spin on my Friday the 13th box set.
Ooh.
I watched the first slasher movie I ever watched, which was Freddy vs. Jason, and it holds up in the best way. It's great. It's bad, but it's great. And the scene in which Freddy, the stoner, gets possessed by Freddy is
Jason
one of my
Mewes?
discount Jason Mewes. Hilarious.
I think it's in one of the docs where Jason Mewes shows up in the doc and is like, I wasn't in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I think it's in the Crystal Lake Memories one. Or
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I think we just lost me.
I took you out. Your phone was I think about to die.
Is it lagging? Okay.
Yeah. So we're down to 2 cameras. We've lost one. We've killed them off.
I'll hit leave.
All right.
Go
But he's still here.
right
Sam
anyways.
is still here.
I'm still here.
Do we want to touch on like the other recent watches? I just have like 2 things to bring up really quick. I don't
Go
know if
for
you
it.
guys have
Yeah,
anything.
go for it.
I'm good. I'm done.
Okay.
So
I started Clive Barker's Books of Blood because we're doing the Clive Barker series on the Backlot main show. I'm unfortunately only 2 stories in, and they're incredible. I mean, I watched the new Books of Blood on Hulu. It's not great that the first book out of Books of Blood is based on. Yeah, I highly recommend just reading that entire. I'm going to finish the book eventually, but that first short story is incredible. Then the other one I've been reading and just finished is this book called Count Crowley. It's a comic book series.
Oh, nice.
Show it on the camera there. It's about this horror host, and she has to actually fight real monsters. So after watching like Fright Night earlier this month, I was totally in the mood, and I was reading this about the same time. I'm like, yeah, I need more of this type of content. Like, this is my jam. Like, if I could ever make a horror movie, like with a real budget, I would probably just do this. Like, just do a horror host fighting real monsters. I think that's such a great storyline, and yeah, highly recommend this comic book series. It's written by David Desmalchin.
Yeah.
He was in The Dark Knight. He was in the Ant-Man movies.
He's one of James Gunn's really good friends.
Yeah. So he wrote this book and came up with it, and
That's awesome.
it's a very great book, and highly recommend. I hope they continue it. It's only been 4 issues so far, so I'm hoping they continue the series. But yeah, that's all. That's all I got. So yeah.
All right.
I'm ready.
So
I'm ready to go all night.
I am absolutely
Good one.
ready.
I am not at my old age, but
I mean horror movies. That's what I meant. So, do we want to explain the rules? All right. Since I'm talking, I can.
Are there rules?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
So basically, we said to each other is we're doing a horror all nighter. You guys can put in whatever the hell you want. 5 to 6 movies is what we're thinking. I have 5. Blake, you had 5.
I have 5. Yeah.
Sam, you had 6. So we're all in that ballpark. We're thinking of, like Blake said at the top of the show, if you could rent a movie theater for a night.
If you're in a theater and
bring a bunch of friends in, or even at your house and you bring a bunch of friends in. How would you pitch a horror all-nighter? You all want to stay up all night. You start at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and you want to go until the sun comes up. And so this is our version of that, and there was really no parameters besides that.
Yeah.
And I think we'll just kind of go by film as we go through this. Each take turns, and at the end we'll just read them all off together.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of like
that sounds good to me.
Like what's that show? Elric's
Pure Cinema Podcast.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Shout out Pure Cinema Podcast. They don't know who we are, but we know them.
Yeah.
Go
So
listen.
do I need to take one out? Should I just do 5?
If you want to, that's up to you.
Yeah, I'll take out my
Okay.
number 5. I'm gonna throw it out as an honorable mention.
All right.
It was maybe my most left turn one. I had the 2002 Raja Gosnell classic Scooby-Doo, the movie, as a palate cleanser.
Save that for the Scooby-Doo episode, Sam.
I know.
We'll do it. We'll talk about it.
It's a
We'll talk
formative
about
movie
Scooby.
for
We'll
me.
talk
I had to
about
have it.
Scooby, Scrappy, and Melvin Doo all in one episode. We'll do it.
Approach me, Melvin Doo.
I cannot wait.
Hashtag do heads.
Hashtag do heads.
So yeah, let's jump into it. First of all, I'll ask one question to all you, and then I'll throw it off, I guess, to one of you. Do you guys have a theme for your horror all-nighter?
I do not.
So I took this as like I thought about coming up with a theme, and this list ended up being kind of amalgamation of a couple of themes that I came up with.
Mm-hmm.
The theme for me really is just movies that I think are kind of either overlooked, or one of them is just so old that I don't think a lot of people really consider it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And these are just all movies that I think deserve more attention. And so, yeah. That's more what it is. I tried to go with like unobvious choices because everybody knows, like, if I'm playing 5 movies that I love, it's going to be, you know, The Lost Boys, Night of the Creeps, Halloween. Like, I tried to keep those out of this so that it was a little bit more surprising, but still like something that was very much my tastes, you know?
And I don't have a theme for mine, but mine's more of like, it's curated to like where in the evening you are.
Yes. So I took what Blake said there. I'm definitely setting it up as this is the order you have to watch it in, and the reason you're watching it in that order.
Yeah.
I also have a theme for it where we're pitching a horror all-nighter. I'm setting my movies that take place all in one night.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Mostly in one night. So
That's
cool.
cool.
There's a little leeway in some of them, but yeah, basically they all take place in one night. So if you're sitting in a theater watching these, and you're going to almost feel like you're trapped in the night until the end. So that was my setup for this. But Blake, go ahead if you want to kick it off with your first movie and anything else you want to include with that.
My first one's going to come to no surprise to anyone who knows me. If we're going to be in a theater and trapped in a theater all night, my first movie is going to be about being trapped in a theater all night. I'm going with Demons.
Nice.
Yeah, I like I said, I think if we're gonna have an all nighter in a theater, I want the movie that is sort of like, I want the movie kicking it off to be a movie that takes place in a theater for 95% of its runtime. Demons, if you have not seen this, it's sort of getting like a rediscovery over the past
haven't. No, I have not seen Demons. I first heard about, I wanted to get it watched before our 80s show.
Sure.
And yeah, it's on my October watch list, honestly.
This movie, it's about a group of people who mysteriously get invited to this screening of a new horror movie in Berlin at this theater called the Metropole. It's this grand theater. And they show up, and then the movie sort of like starts to come alive, and it's great because they really never explain why. It just happens. Someone in the theater gets possessed during like this weird sequence in the movie, and ends up biting somebody else, who bites somebody else, who bites somebody else, and then soon enough, everyone is fighting these demons in this theater, and they're locked in. And I think it's a very enjoyable experience. It's a brisk 90 minutes. There's a lot of great 80s hair metal in the movie. And
one of my favorite uses of a Billy Idol
song
ever. Yeah,
it's incredible. There's a lot of great cinematography in this movie. There's a sequence in a bathroom that sort of harkens back to like Tenebrae or just some other Argento stuff. There's a great sequence where there's this shot down this hallway, and there's like these stairs rising up, and the demons are slowly coming up the stairs with their eyes glowing, and they're all backlit. And it's just stuff like that. And it all, and there's like someone ends up driving a motorcycle around the theater with a samurai sword in their hand. And so there's a lot of really cool stuff, but it doesn't feel like over the top. It doesn't feel like they're like, look what we can do. It's somehow it just all works, and it all ends, and like not bleak, but it's a dark ending in a great 80s way. And I really think like kicking this off,
it ends with them like driving in a car,
and like a military jeep outside of the city, and you hear
you think it leads to Demons 2, and
it doesn't. No, yeah, and in a way, Demons 2 sort of takes place in a parallel universe at the same time. Yeah, but you know, like they're driving away from the city, and you hear like the city's like literally screaming, People are screaming, it's on fire, and you're like, it's like, oh, this is how the world ends. And I think this is just my way of kicking off this night. Is like you're in this movie theater, and all of a sudden you're trapped in this movie theater.
Demon slaps.
Yeah, it's great. You'll love it.
Yeah,
I'm
you'll
sure
love
I
it.
will. Like everything I've heard about this, especially like from you guys, I know I'll love this. Man, I have not gotten around to it. This October has been hard to fit in watches, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the October story every year.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, is that
My
Demons?
7:00 movie is
All right,
Demons.
Demons.
Yeah.
excellent.
yeah. Sam, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. If you know me, you know that I like the old black and whites. I like campy stuff. And so I chose for my very first one to go with James Whale's seminal classic, The Bride of Frankenstein. I think this movie is perfect. And I say that about a lot of movies, I'm aware, but this one really
I
is.
agree with you, Sam.
It's
It's a
truly
perfect
perfect. And it's amazing because it follows up an already perfect movie and somehow manages to one-up it in everything. Like, this is like...
Does it
This
have a
is-
better ending than the first one?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's so funny because
I don't think it's as iconic as the first one, but it fits the tone.
Is it not
Yeah.
though? Like, I mean, the image of the bride is like the most iconic.
See, and I think the image...
The burning windmill is like what I.
Oh
think
no.
See,
Oh,
I don't
well,
know. I
that's
think
you,
it's
yeah.
more. I would say it's almost more iconic because yes, the burning windmill is huge, but I mean, the bride has just almost more so than the
I mean, that's-
monster. Than
people get
Frankenstein's
tattoos of that.
monster. Yeah, like she is like the hair.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
I love this movie.
Bride of
There is
Frankenstein.
really like
Yeah.
nothing else like it. There is
Mhm.
absolutely nothing else like it. It's campy. It's clearly like James Whale dealing with some of the things with his, you know, he was openly homosexual, and it's clearly him dealing with some of that. You know, you've got Dr. Frankenstein and his old mentor, Dr. Pretorius,
I love
like
that name.
sneaking away to create life while he should be with his wife. I mean, it's insane. Like the subtext in this, and to me, it's just one of the greatest movies ever made. And the more people that know about it, the better, because I feel like, I mean, this thing is 85 years old. I just showed it to Maria this year, and she was surprised at how little the bride was in it,
Mhm.
but she agreed by the end. She's like, yeah, it's an impactful appearance though.
Mhm.
I don't know.
It's cool as hell. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's awesome. So it's a nice kind of cozy movie to kind of get you in the mood
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
rest of it. And so I thought Bride of Frankenstein, that's my number one.
I have not seen this
Oh, yeah.
yet. I need to see it
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Like October.
We
Yeah.
should really do a theater night.
Hey,
and
man,
do like
we
a
should.
double feature of Frankenstein and Bride. Honestly, it would be cool.
Because we saw Frankenstein and Dracula in the theater
Yeah.
earlier this year.
Boy, Dracula is.
I wish they just would have done Frankenstein and Bride right after.
Yeah, me
That would
too.
have been a better double feature.
I had fun,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
Dracula was a chore to get through.
It is. So funny that you bring up Mr. Whale. So I'm going to kick it off. I first have some trailers to play before my first movie. I'm going to play the trailer for James Whale's The Invisible Man,
Nice.
which is one of my favorite Universal monster movies.
Oh, it's so good.
It's incredible. And then I'm following that up with the Night of the Hunter trailer,
Ooh,
which is directed by Charles Lawton in his one and only movie. So I'm going to combine the two in their appearance. Lawton appears in the James Whale directed The Old Dark House.
Mm,
So me and Sam are both kicking it off with whale movies, unplanned.
unplanned.
I have a quick digression. Do any of you have some Universal movies for me to borrow? Because
Yes, I have.
I have not seen.
When we're done, I will. Oh, that one's on Shudder.
Okay,
Yeah, that one
but
is on
I
Shudder.
will give you all of my monster movies.
and not all of them right away, but
Yeah,
I will give you the Frankenstein series. and start with
I've literally got the big 30 pack of Blu-rays of the
that.
Universal
I don't
Monsters.
have that. I might have to
I've
borrow
been-
that from you too.
I've been like,
so
I haven't even watched all of them. I've just been digging through
That's
them
dope.
and just
That was
slowly going through.
my. When did we do the
March or something when
yeah, it was
Invisible
like-
Man came out,
Yeah.
pre-COVID,
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely have thoughts about that Killer Countdown episode.
3 years ago when COVID started. Casey, sorry,
the
go
Van
ahead.
Helsing inclusion of that, Sam? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the problems I have with it.
Yeah. But anyway, The Old Dark House. That is my first movie directed by Mr. James Whale. It was his horror follow-up to Frankenstein. Also stars Mr. Boris Karloff in this movie. It is about this this group of travelers that end up in this old dark house for one night during a storm, and they stumble across this family, and one of the family members, played by Karloff, is just this drunk, mean old bastard, and he terrorizes the people in this house. It has the same whale sensibilities of The Invisible Man or the Frankenstein films. It definitely fits in the tone of those. I think Karloff is very, very scary in this movie. He's basically Frankenstein, but Frankenstein's monster if he was just a drunk. And yeah, it's a fun movie. It's an hour 12, so it's a breezy start to your horror all-nighter. You're gonna kick it off with a classic movie, get you kind of in the mood for the rest of the night. And yeah, I think my favorite character in this movie is actually Charles Lawton. I think he's really great in this movie. He sparks a romance in it with a woman who he meets this night and then proposes to in this night.
That's how you do it.
The 30s were a wild and crazy time. So yeah, so I'm kicking off the night with the trailer for The Invisible Man and Night of the Hunter, followed by The Old Dark House from Mr. James Whale.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's a bitchin' start.
All right, my 8:30, 9 o'clock movie. I'm sticking with the 80s. I kind of want to make people laugh a little bit, have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna go with a trauma movie. I am going with a movie that I grew up loving in my teenage years, and that is The Class of Nukem High. Class of Nukem High is an incredibly silly movie about some students who go to Trauma High School in Traumaville, and Trauma High School is right across the street from Trauma's nuclear power plant. Listen, this is not going after some Academy Awards or anything. There are some.
Lloyd has
I'm sure he's tried. Trauma High School, for some reason, has nuclear waste in their building from the power plant. Some kids get into it; they turn into monsters, and the kids got to fight the monsters. There's some biker gangs in this. Listen, this is a trauma movie. There's violence, there's gratuitous nudity, there's lots of drinking and partying, and lots of really cool rock music. I just want to continue the theme of having some fun as you start to get a little maybe a little doozy from the alcohol you're drinking, a little tired before I kick it up a notch. So my second movie is Class of Nukem High.
I dig that. I've never seen that movie, but it sounds fantastic.
An alternate would be The Toxic Avenger, which would be equally as fun, but a little more nostalgic for me with this one.
Nice.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I have not ventured too far into trauma.
I was about to say I don't know much trauma.
And I will say the class of Nukem High 2 and 3 are also as good as the first one, in my opinion. So if you're gonna do one, you might as well do all three.
Yeah, you're gonna serve some nuclear
We're not even
drinks.
very far into this episode. I already want to do all of our all-nighters.
Yeah,
I really do.
Sam, what do you got at your? What are we at? About 9 o'clock?
I'd say so.
Slot?
Yeah, 15-minute break after each movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to keep going cozy with this one. This is one of the more underrated works, I feel, of John Carpenter, and that is 1980's The Fog. I feel like no one talks about this movie when they talk Carpenter, and they so should, because the atmosphere in this movie is bonkers. This might be after it's so hard because he has so many great scores, but this is one that I find myself listening to almost the most out of all of his scores. I love the mood it puts me in. To me, this is, I've said this before, this to me almost feels like John Carpenter auditioning to do a Stephen King movie before he did Christine.
I can see that.
There's some very Stephen King vibes, and if you know me, I love Stephen King.
It feels like the movie takes place in Maine.
Yeah, it
I don't
really
know if
does.
I don't remember.
Northern
where it is.
California.
Yeah.
But it has that
main feel.
Yeah, it has that main feel. It's the atmosphere is very fall like. I mean, to me, this is just as much a Halloween season movie as Halloween. I just Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Atkins, Janet Leigh having a small role in this. Like, there's just so many.
Hal Holbrook is in this.
Hal Holbrook. I mean, this
Adrienne
cast
Barbeau.
is freaking stacked, and Adrienne Barbeau like holds it all together. My favorite part of Tales from Halloween, the anthology film, is that she's literally basically playing her character from The Fog as the wraparound between all of the different stories. I think that's awesome. The Fog just to me is something that is sadly just overlooked in Carpenter's filmography, and it really deserves all of the acclaim that his other movies get, and that is why I would play it second in a horror all-nighter.
The Fog. So I just thought of this as you were talking about The Fog. Halloween is like your October movie. The Fog feels like a November movie. Like you're transitioning into winter, and then boom, December hits. You watch The Thing. Like that's like
that's actually really good.
Would be a fun triple feature to watch. Like each month you watch a different Carpenter. Yeah, I think The Fog is super underrated. Not enough people talk about this movie. It's super moody. Has just that like
the
for a movie called
opening.
The Fog, it has plenty of fog in this movie that feels so great, and it's like Ghost Pirates. It feels like a Scooby-Doo movie too.
It does. It's got like it's like the adult version of Zombie Island, and I love the opening with the old sea dog like around the campfire with the kids, and he's like, "Let me tell you a story," and it's just like, fuck, who blessed us with John Carpenter, because that man is just he's genius. I love him.
No one make a great double feature with The Fog, The Lighthouse.
I still haven't seen The Lighthouse. I've literally owned that movie for like a year and a half. I have not watched it yet.
Get on that.
I know, because I'm not even like you guys. I loved The Witch, so I'm really excited for The Lighthouse.
All right. Then I will go to my 9 o'clock. I have a couple trailers beforehand. First trailer will be for Rosemary's Baby.
I want to preface by saying there are trailers before my movies too.
I
just don't know. I didn't
plan.
plan.
Them in there.
I want to preface by saying I didn't put any trailers in because I like movies and I don't need to watch trailers between them.
Wait till our Halloween party.
I don't like a whole lot of trailers. I always put it's like two, but like it's literally less than 5 minutes. So Rosemary's Baby is my first one for the first trailer here, and then the second trailer would be for Ty West's Innkeepers.
Oh God!
And so the movie I'm going to be playing is the reason he made Innkeepers, which is The House of the Devil.
Yes. Oh.
So my first movie is the Old Dark House. I'm going to follow it up with Ty West's House of the Devil. It is a movie about this woman who is hired to house sit for the night. I believe she's babysitting.
Yep.
But it turns out that I'm just going to spoil it. Like basically, she finds out that she will be sacrificed to a satanic cult in this movie. Hence the reason we have some Rosemary's Baby in the trailers there. I think this is easily Ty West's best movie. I think it's super moody. It's one of the best uses of that 70s aesthetic, because the first time I watched this movie, I paused it during the opening credits and I'm like, wait, what year did this come out?
Yeah.
Because it feels so 70s in every aspect.
Yeah, it's that true to form.
Yeah.
It really is.
But I saw Greta Gerwig in the cast. I'm like, is Greta Gerwig like 50 years old, or am I crazy? What's going on? Yeah, and it's fun to see a director actress that is so much in the like anytime Greta Gerwig comes out with a new movie, it's probably going to be nominated for an Oscar. Like that's just the world we live in now, and it's cool to see that. No, she was in this bloody, gory Ty West movie 10 years ago. It's pretty awesome. The main actress in this movie, I don't remember her name.
Jocelyn Donahue.
Yes,
she was in Dr. Sleep
Yes.
as Abra's mother.
Yes.
Oh,
I love Jocelyn Donahue.
Yes, I do too.
Amazing.
I think she's super underrated, and that's because of this movie. Yeah, I think this movie is fantastic. It has so much tension. It is also has just again, that 70s aesthetic works so well in this movie. There's a
Mhm.
great scene of her dancing in the house that feels like right out of a 70s movie. There's some
While also managing to be very tense because of the voyeuristic camera.
yes.
It's terrifying.
And when the reveal happens of what the hell is going on in this house, you're like,
Oh,
oh
God.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie just, I watched this for the first time. It was within the first month of me moving out of my parents' house and living on my own, and it freaked the hell out of me. I mean,
It's a
Damn
good
it,
it's
I
a
love
good watch at your house alone movie.
oh yeah,
You're gonna be
100%.
terrified.
It's so good.
Yeah, this is a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Noonan. Did we mention Tom Noonan's in
Oh,
this?
yeah.
Yeah. I hate to play the bad guy. I like Innkeepers more, but this is the tension in this is, man, like there's just scenes where like she's like playing pool by herself, and I think she orders pizza
Yep.
at
She
one
orders
point,
pizza, yeah.
and this just like you're watching this girl in the house, and you're kind of like, okay, at some point this has got to get interesting, but like while that's happening, there's like this slow like something's
You
not
feel
dread
on edge
building.
the
something's
entire
not
time.
right
Yeah.
here, and it oh man, the music.
Tom Noonan is creepy.
Well, yeah. The music when everything starts happening at the end is just it's incredible. Yeah, this is a great pick.
And honestly, Greta Gerwig's death in this
It's
doesn't
shocking.
matter. Doesn't matter
Oh,
how many times
yeah.
I've seen it. It's
Yeah.
so it comes out of nowhere. You're just
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
It's incredible.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not even
I'm getting
I don't
chills thinking about
I
this
don't-
movie, guys.
I haven't seen this in like 10 years. I
Oh,
need to rewatch
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I have the
Is this
DVD.
anywhere that
It's-
available?
It is somewhere. I don't it might
Yeah,
be on
it's
Prime.
always
maybe?
somewhere
it's
on
Okay,
streaming.
I need to find it.
I think all of mine are streaming somewhere. Like,
Yeah,
like
For a while,
either
it was
Prime,
on
Shutter, or
Shudder.
Tubi. These all are
Cool.
on, so
I'm looking for this as soon as we're
yeah,
done.
we need. Yeah, I would love to do a movie night with this one and watch it. Maybe give Innkeepers another go because I didn't love that.
Oh,
one.
see, I love Innkeeper.
Yeah.
I think Ty West, like his 3 Innkeepers, House of the Devil, and The Sacrament. I love all of those.
Yeah.
And then I have a follow up for this. Then we're after House of the Devil ends, we're gonna watch Amateur Night from the first VHS, which Ty West did.
Okay,
Nice.
So that'll be my transition out.
you really thought about this, Casey.
I did. I'm putting some shit into this, man.
He did his homework. I'm still scratching out movies and putting new ones into mine.
All right. Well, we're getting into where the night is going to get wild. Okay. I decided which one I wanted to go with first. I've gushed about this movie a lot, so this is nothing new. I'm gonna put some found footage into this.
Okay.
It's 11 o'clock roughly. People might be dozing off at this point. We're gonna inject some adrenaline into them. I'm going with the Spanish found footage movie Wreck, which is a balls to the wall zombie infection movie about people trapped in an apartment building, and basically, really quickly, a young reporter is doing a story on like the midnight crew of this firefighting crew in Madrid, Spain, and they get a routine call to an apartment building where someone's having a heart attack, and they show up and the person dies, and they start to make their way out, and all of a sudden they are trapped inside because the city has quarantined the building, and all of a sudden they find out that it isn't a routine call after all. I don't want to give away the ending because the ending is absolutely incredible, but basically they find out that there's some zombies in the building that can run really quickly, and all of a sudden this firefighting crew along with this young woman and her cameraman are just running up and down this apartment building as they're being chased by zombies. There's tons of great scares, great kills, and the final 10 to 15 minutes, which is all in night vision, is just nuts, and I think people will be freaking out, screaming in the aisles as this whole thing unfolds. And it's only like an hour and like 20 minutes long, hour and 15 minutes long. So it'll just zip by.
Those are the best types of movies. Blake, what I've liked about yours so far is that I haven't seen any of these. and I am very excited to. Honestly, I want to do this. I want to do this all nighter, just because like I'm
I guarantee you've seen one of mine by the time this ends.
yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm sure. And I don't know. I'm like super intrigued by everything you're saying, man. And I'm like, I need this to happen. We need to do this.
I can't sing the praises of Record enough. Like it's so good, and the sequel is equally as good. And
Both Killer Countdown.
yeah, it's
by you.
By me. It's very good. Sometime we gotta watch this.
I need to watch this again with subtitles, because the only time we talked about this before. The only time I watched it was dubbed, and it took me so far out of the movie. I just could not get into it. But all the visuals are really great, but that part just took me out, and that's nothing away from the movie.
Remade as Quarantine.
Okay, because I've seen Quarantine.
Quarantine's fine. Quarantine's fun, but like there's something dangerous about this one that like an American remake just can't produce. You know,
sanitize.
So, yeah. Because I think Quarantine's PG-13. This is a very hard R. So or unrated
which is
or
probably
whatever.
why I've seen Quarantine.
Yeah.
And not Wreck, because I was sheltered. All right. So my number 3 this is the one that's probably going to come as no surprise to anyone. This is my one that I allowed to be kind of obvious. Number 3 is the number 8 80s movie, according to Killer Countdown.
According to you?
According to Killer Countdown, it's official. 1986 is Chopping Mall, because it's Chopping Mall, baby. Like, we've gotten cozy, we've gotten the spookies, and now we're going balls to the wall, 80s cheese. We got Barbara Crampton, we got Kelly Maroney, we got Killbots.
Dick Miller.
Oh my God. This movie, guys, I gush about this movie all the time. I'm aware. I've watched this an embarrassing amount of times.
We watched it together.
We did.
We did. and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I just got the Blu-ray in the mail. Literally it was in my shopping cart on Amazon. I was ordering something else and I thought I'd clicked save for later, and I clearly didn't, because all of a sudden I got 2 shipping notifications. I'm like, oh, did I order the same thing twice? And I found out I had accidentally ordered Chopping Mall on Blu-ray, and I'm like, this is the best mistake I could have ever made. And so now I own Chopping Mall on Blu-ray, and I can't wait to watch it like another 100 goddamn times. I love this movie. It's so much fun, and it's exactly the type of late night movie that I would have showed to my friends growing up, and that is why it's number 3 on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chopping Mall's great. I'm super happy we got Barbara Crampton on this list somewhere. You know, like I'm so in love with Barbara Crampton.
She's your hormone pick, right? From Andy's post, hormones.
Yeah. And it's a new one too. You know, it was like I started following on Twitter recently, and I'm like, she seems like such a lovely lady.
She is so delightful on Twitter.
She's not aged. Yeah. She seems super nice.
Yeah.
But anyways, Chopping Mall rules. Got it. Exploding heads, electrocution.
And the freeze frame at the end when they're going through the cast members.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
I expected this to be here. I'm totally cool with it, because I would love to see this in the theater sometime.
I would too. It'd be fun to watch it in a mall, even though malls don't exist.
Like in the middle, like where a food court used to be. Yeah.
Yes.
That would rule. Yeah, Chopping Mall.
We should rent out the Starcourt Mall set that they used for Stranger Things 3 and screen Chopping Mall during it.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's start a GoFundMe.
I mean, the closest thing, if we did it in the West Mall.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, the West Mall might.
I think that could work. I think we should try and do this, boys.
Let's do it. I'm in. Waitress, more butter. One of my favorite line deliveries ever from Chopping Mall. God damn. I should have expected a Chopping Mall discussion at some point tonight.
Kelly Maroney needed to be on our final girls list in this.
She should have been there instead of Jamie Lee Curtis. I get it.
I don't know. I have such a hard time because I don't know if I would actually take any of our final girls out, but I do know that Kelly Maroney in Chopping Mall is phenomenal.
She's our honorable number 9.
She really is.
All right. So
she's gonna make my list again, just so everybody knows. Spoiler alert.
So I last played Amateur Night. So we're about midnight, 11 o'clock here. I'm going to play, first up, I'm just going to play the minute and a half long intro for the Tales from the Crypt TV series. Because the movie we're playing
I know what it
is Demon Night.
Yeah.
So we're getting there late into the night. So we need some Zane action to go into this. You know, we're heading into a new day.
Is this Billy Bald Zane? Is he bald yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is insane in this movie. His
I love it. I love it.
His performance in this movie is like the most fun I think I have ever seen an actor have on the screen. He's having so much fun in this movie. It's insane that he's this bonkers crazy. You know, it's Billy Zane too. And yeah, this movie is I don't even know. Is it the first, the second Tales from the Crypt movie? It's the good one. I don't like the other one very much. Bordello.
Yeah, it's not good.
This one, on the other hand, is just balls to the wall crazy. It takes place basically in this house all night, and Billy Zane is this demon, and he can like summon other demons to try to break into the house where this group is hanging out. Howden, who else is in the cast? Mrs. Will Smith,
William Sadler's in
William
it.
Sadler.
Isn't Dick Miller in this too?
Dick Miller is
How
in
have
this.
I not seen this?
I haven't seen this
Thomas,
either.
not Thomas Jane. Church. Thomas. No.
Oh, Thomas Hayden Church.
Yes, he's in this movie. Yeah, this is such a fun ride, and I think right at 12 o'clock, you just need to go balls to the wall crazy and kind of pick everybody's energy back up before you head into the last couple of movies for the night. And yeah, Demon Night is just literally just this ball of energy shaking the entire time, and to have Billy Zane on the big screen going as freaking bonkers crazy as he does in Demon Night is the best. So yeah, this is my midnight movie. Starting at about midnight is Demon Night. So we're gonna get some Crypt Keeper, and then we're gonna kick it off into Demon Night.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take the intensity and add a bunch of humor and gore to it, and we're gonna go with a early '90s Peter Jackson schlock fest. We're doing Dead Alive, the uncut version. Yeah, I mean, listen, we're starting to get a little tired, maybe hopefully not.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just ratchet up more. Have you guys seen Dead Alive?
I actually have not. To me, Peter okay, so I'm a millennial. I'm typical. To me, Peter Jackson's filmography starts at Mouse Hunt. I haven't seen anything previous.
That's not Peter Jackson.
No, wait.
You're probably watching Lord of the Rings is probably your first one.
Yeah. You're thinking of Gore Verbinski.
Okay,
Verbinski
I'm
is
sorry. I get the two of those mixed up a lot. And
there's
that's
gore
really
in.
weird. Okay, yeah.
Mouse Hunt rules, though.
So, yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking Gore Verbinski. Peter Jackson, yes. I was getting them combined because I know Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, King Kong, all that. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is where Peter Jackson's filmography starts for me. I've never watched anything prior. Right? So, like, I need to. I'm aware of that.
I've been catching up.
But yeah.
I love this movie. We're not going to swear on our show.
Sam already dropped the one F-bomb.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Well, then I'm going to say it. This movie fucks.
When the fuck did that happen?
Yeah,
right,
you did.
Right now.
You did. It's
so.
okay. Yeah, I watch movies like this and Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles, and I'm like, this guy got Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
But he did.
I'm only halfway through Bad Taste, and I think I have to watch it with you guys to get into it, because I can't get into it.
It's a little... Yeah.
I need a group. to watch it.
I think
can't
so.
watch it by myself.
I'm on board. Peter Jackson 90s night.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All three of those?
All three of them.
Let's do it.
Dead Alive is considered like the goriest movie ever made. There's a sequence where a guy grabs a lawnmower and just holds it up and runs through a house, just slicing and dicing zombies, and it's literally just it's goopy. Like, this is goopy horror, blood and gore. Sorry. Yeah, this movie is nuts. People will be howling and screaming after this during this, and man, yeah, Dead Alive. This is it's bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, get on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
I looked up
It's
this
like Evil Dead 2 turned up to like
12. Yeah,
12.
it's not. It's insane.
okay,
insane.
I'm in. And I apologize for the Gore Verbinski, Peter Jackson thing.
That's fine.
Don't come after me, internet. Sorry.
They're already typing.
I had a weird day today, so
Like this
Give-
guy like Scooby Doo and
give-
doesn't know who Gore Verbinski is.
give my brain a break. I had a day, trust me. All right, my number 4. Keeping with the Kelly Maroney theme is one that I've just watched recently, and guys, I can't get enough of this. Night of the Comet. Blake, I know your thoughts on this. I think you need to rewatch it.
It's fine.
This
isn't about me though, Sam. It's about you.
It is. It's about me. Night of the Comet follows these two sisters. They're very Valley Girl-esque. One of them's a little tomboyish, likes the arcade games and everything. And she works at the movie theater at the mall. And basically this comet that's only come around like once in a whatever billion years, the last time it came through, the dinosaurs went extinct and everybody's all excited for it. And so there's all these comet watch parties. And the comet comes by and it vaporizes everybody. And anyone that wasn't instantly vaporized but exposed starts turning into like these undead zombie type creatures. And you've got like these two Valley girls that somehow, like, due to circumstance, basically survived this thing and are now in a world that's unpopulated except by the undead. And what do they do? Well, like all good Valley girls, they go shopping. And obviously shit hits the fan. A government agency starts coming after them. They've got all these undead creatures around. And it just turns into this zany, like sci-fi comedy. Kelly Maroney is phenomenal in this movie. And there's a point in the movie where she has the funniest line that's also so heartbreaking because of the context. Like, and I was a little emotional when I watched this movie because it was after a long day at work, and maybe it's just what I needed, but like to me, this movie just checked all my boxes. Kelly Maroney is fantastic in this. She's funny. She's heartfelt. There are some great one-liners. The ending is so funny, and it kind of actually works as a social commentary on the 80s. It's very solid in that fact. I don't want to spoil any of the one-liners, but there's so many I'm thinking of right now, and I've only seen this movie once. And I can't wait to watch it again. I will definitely be watching it again before the end of October. I bought the Scream Factory Blu-ray. You can rent it on Amazon, but it's almost impossible to find anywhere except for like Amazon Digital.
It was on Tubi for like forever. I don't know if it's still on
it
there.
got taken off because I was going to watch it on Tubi and then it wasn't there. So I was just like, screw it. I'm buying the Blu-ray. And I bought the Blu-ray and it was the best decision ever. So yes, Kelly Maroney makes her second appearance on my list.
In a row.
Night
Back
of the
to
Comet.
back.
Yeah, back to back.
Back to back Maroney.
Kelly Maroney. She's fantastic, guys.
All right. So it's about 2:00 at night. Billy Zane has picked up the party. Everybody's wide awake again. So I'm going to play the trailers for Assault on Precinct 13 and Maniac.
Which
Cop.
one, the good one or the remake?
The one about the guy we talked about earlier. The one directed by the guy we talked about earlier.
Okay.
That Carpenter kid. And then I'm going to play the trailer for Maniac Cop. So we have a cop theme here. And then I'm going to be playing a movie I think is pretty underrated. I've seen it probably a half dozen times almost now. This is 2014's Last Shift from director Anthony DiBlasi. It is about this rookie cop. She is spending the night in a police station that is beginning to close. They're transitioning to a new station. So she's there on the last night that it's ever open, just to be there in case anyone comes to the door at that location for this night, if anyone has an emergency there. So basically this is her first night on the job and she has to hang out there all night. And what she thinks is going to be a boring night turns out to be the worst night of her life, because this prison is notorious for holding this Manson-style cult that all hung themselves in the prison. And it's almost believed that their spirits are still there, and it turns out, well, they actually are. So it combines ghost stories and cults, and yeah, there's a lot of elements going on here. I think it's a very terrifying movie. I think this one location on a single night, this is a perfect example of that. We're following one character, and through her journey of figuring out, what's real, what's in her mind, how is this related to her past, because her dad has a connection to the cults. So it all is this big intertwining story, and the final 5-10 minutes of this movie is pretty crazy. There's the twist of the movie is pretty great, and I think it's a super tension filled movie. I think you're at the right time of the night. You're at 2:00. Like I said, Zane has picked the party back up, but this movie's going to bring it back down and actually terrify you. So you're in the middle of the night, much like the character. And a lot of this movie is like, what's real, what's fake, and you're at that point in the night of wondering the same if you're watching the movie. Like, am I actually seeing this, or is this the character? What's going on here? So yeah, that's my pick. Last Shift from a few years back. So.
Yeah, I love this movie.
This movie sounds familiar to me.
This movie, like, legit,
it's
kind of scared me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've seen this, but I don't quite remember it.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's been everywhere forever.
Yeah,
It's always on stream.
I probably watched it back when I lived by myself, and I was probably a little tipsy when I did.
It could be. We've watched this movie so many times in our house. It's one of our favorite, like, legit scary movies to rewatch. And yeah, there's some incredible sequences in this movie. So yeah, highly recommend Last Shift.
Yeah,
you're at 2:00 at the night. This is going to scare the hell out of you.
Nice.
all right.
Last
Well,
picks,
my
boys.
last movie. We're getting close to morning. We're in the morning, about 3:00, 4:00 in the morning.
Sun's going to come up by the end of this.
Sun's gonna come up. You're in a way, if you're not drunk, you kind of are, because you're just really tired and sort of like Casey said, hallucinating. And I kind of want to send you out the door laughing. So from the year 2000, I believe, we're gonna watch Scary Movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know.
I was not expecting.
I don't know what to say.
I wasn't either.
I don't know what to add about Scary Movie other than the fact that it's absolutely hilarious.
Deputy Doofy.
Mom, I told you not to go in my room while I'm vacuuming.
So yeah, I feel like it's already worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as like the title card would come up,
I'm really upset I
playing
didn't
Scary
pick that
Movie.
as my
Yeah,
closer.
we're gonna watch Scary Movie, and we're gonna go home just laughing in stitches. I think not only is it just a hilarious movie on its own, but I think after being up hours and watching some really good horror movies, being able to laugh at the genre and also just laughing in general, I think the jokes will just land twice as hard. Scary Movie.
I dig that.
That's a great point. Like, you're in the late nights, everything is going to be funny at this point.
Yeah.
Every joke will.
Your mix becoming so hard.
I already think incredibly funny movie.
I almost did Scary Movie 2 because I think that's very good too. But I was like, now let's do the original one.
Oh, I think the original is by far the best.
Oh, I like 2 more than the first.
I think I do
Okay.
too. But
We have to do a scary movie episode. Like, talk about all.
Yeah,
those.
we really should.
I think
really
the
should.
first 3 are pretty great.
Yeah, they go
yeah,
off the rails a little bit.
They definitely do.
oh yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, the first one has one of my favorite lines ever. Is when they're doing "I Know What You Did Last Summer," and they find the guy's boot, and one of the guys is like, but where's the foot? It's just a stupid line. Like, they find the shoe.
And I love the guy's like, hey, I found it. I'm okay.
Yeah.
See you guys later. And
Keeps getting hit.
yeah.
God, it's such an incredible movie.
Oh God, I really want to go home to watch that now.
Scary quickly before we move on. Scary Movie 2 has one of my favorite lines ever, and it's right away in the beginning with James Woods when they're doing The Exorcist, and he sees the girl spin her head all the way around, and he just looks at her, fuck this, and then walks away. It's a perfect line delivery.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
great.
Yeah.
Scary Movie. God damn.
All right, I'm calling an audible. I'm throwing my cards out because Blake, you've inspired me. I was gonna play Urban Legend as my last because
Hey, that's a great pick.
It's a great pick, but here's what I'm going with because I want something even more. Now you know what? I'm gonna stick with Urban Legend. I was thinking about changing it to Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Go watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil. But we're ending my night with Urban Legend because, barring Scream and Scream 2, this is my favorite '90s meta slasher. Even with New Nightmare, I just, for whatever reason, Urban Legend works for me.
It's awesome.
I get why people are like, oh, it's a Scream ripoff. Like, yeah, it's a Scream ripoff. It's one of the best Scream ripoffs there is. The kills are all inventive as hell. You know, like you've got Robert Englund hamming it up as the creepy Urban Legends professor. Like, what the hell even is that? I mean, oh god, the parka in the middle of,
yes,
you know, like it's just, the movie is an amalgamation of so many different things, and none of it really should work. And you could argue that maybe it doesn't, but for me, it totally does. And I love it. Rebecca Gayheart is like,
yes,
she is unhinged in this movie. She makes this movie what it is. The final 15 minutes of this movie, just like, yeah, all you need is Rebecca Gayheart hamming it up and going crazy. And you're like, yeah.
And Billy Zane from Demon Knight would make a great couple.
Oh God. She's great in this. You've got
Joshua Jackson.
Yeah. You've got Michael.
Isn't Tara Reid in this too?
Yeah, yep. Tara Reid, Michael Rosenbaum,
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto as the nice guy. A big stretch for him.
The normal guy in the school.
Yeah, that should have been his Oscar because that was the most acting you've seen from Jared Leto. You've got Danielle Harris as the goth, horned up roommate.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, my hormone crush.
Yeah, like this was like, honestly, I saw this before I saw any of the Halloween sequels, and so this was actually my introduction to Danielle Harris. And since I was a little emo kid, like,
and Alicia Witt is great in this as the lead actress. I mean, she's awesome in this.
Like, this whole cast.
This movie I saw this in theaters, and it was.
Oh, I can't imagine.
I
bet that was dope.
Yeah.
This is one of, if not my favorite eras of horror, and I've gushed about it so many times. The Scream era, I love it so much, and this is one of the best. And I don't care, like people, like you said, people talk about it being a ripoff of Scream. I'm like, well, the Friday the 13th, every movie after Halloween that's a slasher movie is a ripoff of Halloween.
Yeah,
so gives a shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So Scream itself is a ripoff of Halloween. Like,
which
Halloween's a ripoff of Psych. Like we can keep going back. So.
Yeah,
internet can calm their tits for a little while.
Yeah, exactly.
Go watch Urban Legend if you haven't seen it.
I've never seen the sequels.
It's okay.
I haven't seen the sequels either. I've only ever had interest in the first one because I'm like, and no other movie is gonna strike lightning like this one.
I think it has to do with like film school.
Oh, does it?
I think what's called Final Cut. So I think
nice.
I think, don't quote me on that, but
isn't like the third one like Bloody Mary or something like that?
I haven't seen the third one. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I end my night. I end my night with crazy Rebecca Gayheart.
Yeah, I'm all in on that one.
All right, so for my last one, we're like we said, we're heading into the morning. I'm gonna have I think it's one of the most fun horror movies ever. I think it's just a wild and crazy ride. So the two trailers I'm gonna play before it are Night of the Demons and Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
Naturally.
Obviously, because they both star one actress by the name of Linnea Quigley, who is in my final movie, Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're going to end the night with this group of ragtag punk kids as they party in the graveyard. And that's what we're doing. We're doing in the theater, partying in the graveyard. Return of the Living Dead is one of my just favorite horror movies. I love this movie so much. It's such a blast, and it's obviously a take on Night of the Living Dead. They reference Night of the Living Dead. It's a very early meta movie too.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's set in, I believe, are they in a mortuary that they're working in, and basically this like acid rain and the acid that they're working with brings these.
Well, they unleashed the that drum in the secret military drum in the basement of the mortuary or it's next to a mortuary. It's like a warehouse.
Yeah.
And then
for all the chemicals
and then when it
stuff,
rains, it just brings it all back into the ground.
It evaporates up into the rain and then comes back down.
Yeah. Yep.
Basically, the dead come to life
Yep.
and has some of the best looking zombie effects ever.
Oh yeah, Tarman is terrifying.
Tarman is great. Brains. This movie.
Brains?
This movie is such a balls to the wall movie. Insane. Linnea Quigley's dance in the graveyard is the best thing ever. It's incredible. I think the entire cast is really great in this movie, and so I'm gonna end the night. We're gonna have a blast, and I believe this movie ends with the sun coming up too.
Yes. Yep.
And so that's how we're leaving the movie theater out of here with Return of the Living Dead. So
that's a great choice.
That's how I'm gonna end the night.
Oh my gosh,
fun as hell.
I want to do all of these, guys. I want to do all of them.
All right, should we let's quickly run through our horror all-nighters as one night quick? And then we'll wrap
my cards. Hold on, let me get them quick.
All right. I'm gonna stall for Sam a little bit here. Okay, so I have Demons first, followed by Class of Nukem High, and then Wreck, Dead Alive, and then Scary Movie, which is not scary at all, but it sure is fun.
But an inspired pick. I applaud you.
I knew you guys would love that. I'm like, these guys are gonna.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I love stupid comedies.
All right. Just gushed about Hubie Halloween earlier on the show. I mean,
if we gushed about Hubie Halloween, we were gonna love.
I almost put Hubie Halloween in my.
So mine is Bride of Frankenstein, The Fog, Chopping Mall, number 8 80s horror, Night of the Comet, and Urban Legend.
Man,
it's a wild.
The Fog into Chopping Mall is just.
I took
such a hard transition.
I took a left turn. I don't even care.
But I think with any other movie, unless it was Chopping Mall, it wouldn't work. But the fact that it is Chopping Mall would works perfect.
It's 80s to 80s. We're good.
Yeah.
So mine is first up, The Old Dark House. Then we go to House of the Devil. We follow that with Demon Knight, and then Last Shift, and then we end the night with Return of the Living Dead.
All great all-nighters.
I dig these.
Yeah, I hope someone out there listening does these and lets us know what their thoughts were on these horror all-nighters.
Do you guys have a couple alternates that you had you're playing around with or not?
I do, but it's on the phone that we're using as a camera, so I don't remember. Mine were stuff on all in one night, though.
Oh, yeah.
I had at one point The Mist in black and white. Strangely enough, since you brought it up. I wanted something more fun, honestly.
Yeah, The Mist drags a little bit.
It does, and it's one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations, and I love Stephen King. But it's also, and it's such a downer that it's hard to come back up off of it. You know what I mean?
It might be the movie you would have to end with.
I would just leave everybody depressed. And I don't know if I would want that because I want everybody to have fun. You know, so that's why I replaced it with Chopping Mall. And then like I said, I had the 2002 Scooby-Doo. Tucker and Dale versus Evil was something I was considering, and as always, I was thinking about Night of the Creeps because that movie.
That'd be a fun opening or second movie.
Exactly. And I the only reason I didn't was because I know Chopping Mall I played on the 80s horror, but I didn't want to play all the ones that I did on the 80s horror because let's be honest, if I was actually doing an all-nighter, it would probably be those 5 movies. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't play Teen Wolf, honestly.
Yeah.
I expected it.
Chance.
Yeah.
I think I kind of tease you guys with Teen Wolf more than I really do enjoy Teen Wolf, but I think I ham it up for you guys because I know how much you don't like it. So
I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, you've never seen it. Casey doesn't like it, so I like to tease him with it.
I had Them, which is a giant ant movie from the 50s that I grew up loving. I had a movie called The Car from the 70s about a demonic car that goes around just running over people in a small.
I've seen that streaming. I've never watched.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And then I had Evil Dead 2, which I think would bang so hard in a theater in some sort of format where it's maybe where Dead Alive, and I think that's why I didn't play it because it's too close to Dead Alive. So I had that, and then I had an Australian movie called Razorback, which is a lot of fun and incredibly gorgeous cinematography for a horror movie. I know it sounds kind of condescending, but it's a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Yeah, number one 80s horror movie on that. The only one other I had a different topic. I was debating between movies that set all on one night, or I was going to do horror movie part 2 horror movies. So it was only going to be the part 2s of horror series.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So I had like
That's a cool theme.
Friday the 13th 2, Jeepers Creepers 2. I think I had Demons 2. Like it was just number 2s in the series was my pitch that I was debating, and I'm like, that's going to get repetitive, I think. So I went with all on one night.
That's bitching. I almost did a black and white theme, and then I was like, I don't know. Like, I love that era, but there's nothing there that really like
Zips.
picks up and
Yeah.
zips, you know,
Yeah.
like you don't,
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That'd be
Yeah.
a good
Oh
one.
God, that is such a good one. It's at West Mall this week.
It is.
I really
I've
want
never
to try
seen
and catch
the
it.
50s version.
so
Yeah.
good.
Oh, it's
It's so
amazing,
good.
dude. You would love it.
The only consideration I was thinking about was doing like an all 80s, because with all 80s you really can't go wrong. Like people just love looking back at that decade, and you can do a lot of with like the fun and the gore, and you could sort of extrapolate on a lot of that. But I end up just being like, well, I kind of want to do different
And we did
eras.
it. We did
Yeah.
20 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that might have also played into my
Mhm.
thinking about it too. But
Yeah, and I mean, I know I played 3 80s movies, but 2 of them weren't played during, I didn't want to talk about the same movies that we have already
Mhm.
talked about.
yeah.
So I wanted to bring light to some new ones, except for, Shopping Mall. I just think everybody needs to watch that, so I'll bring it up.
Oh, another one that I considered. Sorry, I'm so sorry. The Hole, Joe Dante's movie from like 2009 or 2008. It's a kids movie, but it slaps so hard. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. It came out, no one watched it. Man, it's so good. I recommend that one. And I thought about that being like my opening movie, or maybe like my second movie too.
I haven't seen that one. There's another movie called The Hole that came out back in like 2001.
With
that
like
was,
Keira Knightley.
Yeah. And I thought that one was pretty decent. I haven't seen
that
it
one
in
yet either,
years,
yeah.
but I
It was
thought that
played
was
on
pretty good.
It was.
a screen drafts.
It
that-
was.
Oh,
That was
was
the
it?
first time I had ever
Yeah.
heard of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's solid. It's like Keira Knightley, Thora Birch from American Beauty. I can't remember who the guys are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I liked it.
All right. I dig these lists. These are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I ever thought I could get through a 10-hour marathon, I'd try it, but I don't know if I could.
I'm too old for that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
You
I
guys are in your
wouldn't do it.
20s. You guys could do it. I
think if I was in a theater, I could probably do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it was in that party setting,
hmm
interaction.
Interaction, throwing stuff, and
If we're allowed to like be boisterously loud and
Yeah.
laugh, like make fun of characters and stuff, I think I could survive something
Mhm.
like that.
Maybe if there was a Keurig in the back pumping.
I
out
was
ultra
just gonna
caffeinated
say
coffee.
if there's some coffee being brewed, I'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I took a nap beforehand too.
Yeah, if I got a good like 3-hour nap in
Yeah,
before we started.
Yep.
all right. Should we wrap this thing?
Let's
up?
wrap it up.
All right.
Wrap it up.
Want me to wrap it up? I'll wrap it up. I
Yeah,
guess. I
you're
can
a
do
good
that.
Yeah,
rapper.
you know the list of all the places our podcast can be found at.
I'll be like a mummy and wrap this thing up. Yeah, so this podcast is on its own feed. Obviously, if you're listening to this or if you're watching on YouTube, we will have its own feed. So we are on Anchor for this, and I believe that is available on pretty much any major streaming platform. So yeah, you can subscribe to us there. Apple, Spotify, Google for sure. I don't know if it has Stitcher or Amazon. We'll have to look into that.
We'll have to
but
look at that,
yeah,
yeah.
Anchor, you can definitely find us there just at SlashLot 605. But if you want to follow us on social media, check us out on Backlot 605 on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube, Backlot 605. You can check out see our lovely faces that we have on camera right now.
Hi.
What's that?
Our SlashLot faces there, and then go check out the Patreon for Backlot too. Backlot has a new Patreon that we just launched, patreon.com/backlot605, and you can join the tiers there. I definitely think we will have some SlashLot content on there at some point. maybe we'll do some do-head stuff on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that would be
Hashtag
fun.
do heads.
If you guys really want to do a do-head episode, I would do my best to feel inclusive into that.
Blake, you're gonna love Witch's Ghost.
Here's
Hey,
the
if I have to do a Fulci episode, Blake has to do a Scooby Doo episode.
Here's the thing, though. If we did do-heads, I would like legit want to do a do-head show. Like, there's so much to talk with Scooby-Doo. We can't do it in one episode.
Yeah, that's true. We would almost have.
Oh, you want to do a?
We might. I'm thinking about maybe doing a mini episodes with do-heads.
Okay.
We'll figure it out down
Okay.
the road. But yeah, thank you for joining us on this little journey that we're just beginning. As you can see, we're working out the kinks of what we want to do. But let us know if you like this format more than the Killer Countdown. Because I think we do, and the
Let
Killer
us know
Countdown's
if you
fun.
like this kinky episode. All right,
I couldn't think of something to say in that.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
I was like,
respond to
oh,
that.
okay, yeah, that was, I guess, hot. You know?
Yeah. We did talk about some naked graveyard dancing, so I guess we are
That's true.
a little kinky. So
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, once again, go check us out there. And yeah, so next time, I don't know what we're doing next time. We'll figure that out. But yeah, we're gonna be doing this once a month. So every last Saturday, right?
Yeah,
Last
something
Saturday
like that.
is what we're thinking of dropping these on. So every last Saturday of the month, this will be where you can find the SlashLot. And like I said, we'll do some mini stuff in between episodes too. So do you guys have anything you guys want to plug, or go ahead, plug Criterion?
Yeah,
because
so
we'll talk
I
about your 70s stuff.
I also co-host a podcast with Andy Heller from Fat Dude Digs Flicks called The Criterion Break. And I have a lot of watches I didn't talk about tonight because they're all part of the Criterion channel right now. And so we are recording this weekend. That episode will be out next week. So keep an eye out for that. It's all going to be horror related, whether it's on the channel or in the collection itself.
Nice.
Sam? Do you have anything?
You can find me on Instagram at Slenz Art, SLENZ Art. I've been doing an Inktober challenge where I do 31 days, 31 drawings, and I'm just pretty much sharing all my horror art on that. If you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and give me a follow. But yeah, otherwise just find me at Backlot. I write reviews from time to time, and also it's just like a really cool site with a bunch of movie news and our smiling faces.
Yes, go check out Sam's 4-star review for Hubie Halloween on there. Maybe the highest review on the internet. I don't know.
Maybe, but I stand by it. Top 5 of the year, baby.
Oh, yeah, Hubie. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. I don't know if we have a fancy sign-off for this one, but I'll just steal the one from Killer Countdown that we had. So until next time, spook you later.